This is my 1987 GB250, and you might have seen a couple of weeks ago I did a video on doing some pretty major repairs on the head gasket, or on the head, sorry. And I took it for a pretty big ride about a week after, and it didn't go so well. The bike started overheating, it was blowing lots of smoke.
I should actually add, it wasn't smoking from the exhaust, or at least I wasn't aware of any smoke from the exhaust. The smoke was actually coming around around the engine, so around the cylinder and around the exhaust. So it was probably just oil that was leaking, being cooked off. I don't think it was blowing smoke from the exhaust.
And had a really high idle and just wasn't right. So I decided to investigate a bit further, and I found that the air filter had fallen off, which explains the overheating. So it's obviously running quite lean. So we will be having a look at it, draining the oil, checking the spark plug and changing all that sort of stuff. And hopefully it's okay. Hopefully I haven't ruined it, because it's a pretty unique motorbike and I don't want to ruin it. Parts are going to be very hard to check.
Like we said, we are draining the oil to check for any particles in the oil, so like bearing material, piston material, and have a look at all the oil that came out. It's all over the exhaust, all over all the quarter panels, all over the plastic. It's pretty bad. And then we are taking the oil filter out to do the same thing with the oil, just to check for metal particles and same thing, bearing material and whatnot. Using a pair of tin snips to peel it open, because you don't want to introduce any more metal into it to skew your results. Just peeling it apart and having a look. There is a bit of metal particles in there, not ideal. Couldn't see too many bronze particles, so bearing material. I'm not sure how long this filter's been in there. I can't remember last time I did a service on it. It's been a while, that's for sure, but I don't think that is a normal amount of particle build-up. And then just taking the seat off and that sort of thing, taking the fuel tank off to get some more access. And then removing the spark plug to have a look at that. I'm expecting it to be pretty white and sandy, like the engine was running lean. As you can see, I was correct. And then a quick stop at Superchip Auto to grab some supplies, just an oil filter, oil, spark plug and some silicone hose. I do plan on getting a proper O-ring, but it's very hard to find this size. It's a 52mm O-ring, and it's very hard to find in any shop locally. No auto store has it, but for now I'm just using some black sealant to seal in the oil filter, so I can do a bit of testing and still run the engine with an oil filter and not worry about it leaking. And then chucking some fresh Penrite oil into it. Probably will remove this, change it over again once I'm done, just to flush everything out. And there was a bit of crap on the funnel that fell off. And then tightening the new spark plug. I didn't show it on camera, but I did give the carb a clean out. and I had a look down the stack, and I couldn't see any dirt or debris at all, so I'm fairly confident I don't need to strip it apart. And as you'll see, the bike ran fine anyway. More on that later. And just checking for compression, any unusual noises, and it sounds pretty healthy.
This is my janky air filter. I just cut the silicone very badly and JB welded it onto the filter, which I don't think is ideal, but I do plan on ordering a proper air filter. And if it's not strong enough to JB weld, I have an idea that I'll 3D print a flange that will have a bigger surface area to glue on, and then glue the hose on. I've got more hose, so I'm not too stressed about it. But I can sort of already peel it away. It's not too bad actually. Oops. But I don't know if it'll be strong with the force of the filter hanging off the carburetor. Let's chuck it on and have a look.
I wouldn't realise this later, but you can see above the air filter is the CDI unit for the ignition. It's not in a great place at the moment. That was going to be fixed. It needs a proper bracket. But I accidentally wedged the tank between the oil filter. I accidentally wedged the tank and push the oil filter down, and I break the JB welds off. So not ideal, but I do have a better solution for that, which is revealed later.
I can hear it cracking the JB weld as I tighten the hose clamp. But that's on there. And when I wiggle it, it's moving the carb with it. I think it could be okay. I am also worried about the JB weld inside it coming off and going through the engine, which would be less than ideal. But I feel like it would just go straight out of the exhaust. Am I wrong? Like, it's a pretty straight path, just boop. So maybe I take it off and give it a clean up. But it's not hot, so in theory it shouldn't melt or anything. Maybe vibrations actually. But I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do actually is going to go and get some fresh fuel, because this fuel is actually quite old, because it hasn't had new fuel since I broke my collarbone, and that's quite bad for a carbureted engine. So I'm going to go get some fresh fuel, dump the old fuel, and I'll see how I go, because honestly the engine sounds healthy. It sounds like it's got good compression, which is great. So I'll start it up and see how I go. I might have dodged a big bullet here. It even smells bad. Definitely smells stale.
This is where I had a bit of an epiphany. I realised that the airbox has that velocity stack thing on it, and it's actually not in there permanently. As you can see, I just took it out. So I'm going to check if it fits on the air filter, which it does once I move the silicone hose out of the way. I did clean that JB weld off very well. I did give it a good clean up so there's no JB weld. And then using the vise to squish it in, or press it in, because it was quite a tight fit, which is good because you don't want to come off.
Perfect. Let's chuck it back on, if it fits. Perfect. That's what I call OEM. Let's give it a start, hey. So when I just ran it then, turn the fuel off, it started up and ran very well actually. I was very surprised and happy. But something isn't right. I think when I did the head, I just didn't tighten it properly because it's absolutely pissing out combustion gases. I actually thought the worst and thought that there was like holes in the head or holes in the block, but then it wouldn't run so well, surely, if there's holes. You actually kind of see all the oil. It was just like smoke and stuff, and you could hear it as well. I mean, I'm happy that the bike ran, and it didn't make any horrible clicking noises or any rod knock, piston slap or anything like that. I mean, the bike is very noisy, so it's hard to hear that sort of stuff. But it started and it ran. It seems like the air filter trick did the job. Very happy with that because it actually fits well now, and it's probably almost a permanent solution, I think, actually. I haven't ridden it yet, but I'm probably not going to ride it for a while because I've got to fix that leak. So I'll see if I can source some head bolts and then pull it back apart, I guess. Head's coming back off. I've done it before, so I can do it again. Shouldn't be that hard, I guess.